Hey, so yeah, just getting through some of these requests, and I have a request for hype token. So there's not a lot on the monthly with hype, but one thing I just really do not like about the way this token has begun its life is it started with a monthly break of structure, a hard close monthly break of structure, and created a range trend and never retested the break of structure at $28.45. So that is the kind of thing that's a little bit concerning, really, when you consider when it opened in the market. Like, so it came along sort of already quite far into the bull run. There is there's always one event that happens every single bull run which kicks off the bear market or kicks off some major retracement, and certainly very non-decentralized blockchains like Hyperliquid and DeFi platforms. A lot of them get hacked, and sometimes you never find out how or why they got hacked. And certainly when it's very much a centralized blockchain behind this thing, and there's so much hype and there's so much shilling. At first glance, I look at this chart and I just think, oh, is this going to be the thing that triggers the bear market? So yeah, that's my monthly take on it. Now, from a positive perspective, if it actually manages to close over the top of this range trend, which it may do in 17 days, then it could bounce off the back side of that range trend, which would then become support, and it would look to travel higher into price discovery. There isn't really any way to tell where that would be, because it's just simply uncharted territory and there is no other trends you could run. But yeah, at this stage, if it keeps pulling back below this trend, then I would be worried, that it is eventually going to have some unexpected event happen and probably come all the way back down here to $28. So we have no monthly support trend to stop it. So yeah, all in all, from a monthly perspective, it's kind of started its life a little bit dangerously. So if we look at a weekly on this, and let's just, we do have a trend on a weekly. So we'll just make sure we have the right candle to begin with at the bottom. So we're going to work out our reverse trends. So that was the first weekly trend we had on it. And it got broken down to here, and that gave us our second one there. And now we head up here. So yeah, as it stands, we can get rid of a few of these lines. From a weekly perspective, it's pretty much doing the right thing. It's relatively overextended from its support trend, but it will probably won't hard close, but it'll probably close over that 49 area. So if I was going to look at taking any kind of position on this, I'd be looking at either this 46, 49.88 area, or a retest of the trend coming through here on the weekly. And as far as any other weekly retests, this level here at 31.86, it's been hard closed. It has had its weekly. So so the weekly structure is developing, and hopefully what will end up happening is the weekly will hold up long enough that it'll create some kind of monthly structure. And if we get a monthly uptrend, which we currently don't have, then that makes it a little bit more sustainable. As far as where we might go, if we have a weekly top, we can possibly find that. So let's just run this up. Yeah, so we're already sort of overextended over the weekly there. So in the next 1 day and 22 hours, you could see a pullback below this weekly trend, which then might still hard close, or sorry, yeah, might still hard close this hold level down here. It may still close above that break level. So that's not too bad, So if it does get really bullish, you could look at putting a small entry on the backside of this trend just to see if it bounces straight off that and heads up, and then you could actually ladder into the entry. But you'd want to hold the majority of it for this hold level that's down here, because that one would have some kind of obligation to actually bounce back up. So if we look at that, it'd be there. So if you entered anything on this trend, you'd also want to be able to put something in on the retest of this level, just in case it actually did just bounce. And realistically, your final entry would sort of be down inside this whole candle, and you'd want to make sure that whatever you got in here, you were able to average out of the position by the time it went back up, because if it spent too much time down here and didn't get back up above that trend, then it would reject off the backside of it, and that could be the start of a downtrend. So that's higher time frame. So if we clear all that, and have a look through here. Okay. And we'll see if we've got anything on the daily. And we don't. There's nothing really you can move that to on the daily. You might have something on the 4-hour. Yep. Yeah, so you got a 4-hour candle there. And so you could probably run some trends up from that and just see if we're actually going to break down. So yeah, it's looking pretty overextended on the 4-hour, like a lot of tokens at the moment are. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, so that's where we are now. So it's got a hold level in here. It's got the backside of this trend. It hasn't actually lost this trend yet, but it's certainly looking like it wants to turn over. Okay, some kind of downtrend forming through here. And it's got a range trend through here. So this is kind of what's holding it up. And so if this candle was to close down and flip bearish, it would be hard closing back underneath this range trend that's running through here, as well as having that hold level there, as well as being a break of this interior trend. So that would send it down a bit further. There's not really a lot of places to hold that up on the 4-hour. So the way it's moved up is not a very sustainable move. You've got a hold level all the way down here at 44. No, and yeah, these aren't exactly. These are all tested hold levels or backside hold levels, which don't generally give sustainable trend reversals. So you got a break level through there, which is sort of holding or trying to hold the price up, and you've got some kind of origin level through there, which is trying to send the price down. So yeah, it's pretty much on the fence right now. If it loses this trend, and particularly if it loses this one, then it's a big drop. down from there. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be longing that. It's just too late. Like you're kind of, if you long that at the moment, you're chasing, which is not to say it doesn't go higher, but you're just chasing the pump if you long that now. Risk to reward is not very good, and you'd be better off just waiting to see if it actually comes back, or find something else that hasn't moved up so much already and wait to see if this actually does pull back. But yeah, be interested in that if it came back down to that sort of 48, 47, 45, 44, those sort of levels, which would then pretty much just be confluent with, you know, the weekly levels really. So it looks like the low time frame is potentially gearing up for a retracement back to the weekly levels, and they're going to be in there. Yeah, so actually that range trend down there would be an amazing entry. If you got that, that would be a really good entry down there at 32, because it's created that and it's never been tested. So yeah, that would be a good place, but it may not get there, you know, this time, because you've got hold levels and you've got other reasons for it to bounce before it gets down to that level on the weekly. So yeah, that's about it for hype. It's probably summary version. I'd be very wary of this token. Its monthly structure is just geared for an absolute dump. It would be one of those swan type events that would kick in on. So, you know, everyone would just feel that, you know, their bag turned to very, very little or halved in value just because of some hack or some whatever. But the structure is there and it's geared to do it. Retest that $28 level sometime in the future based on some event that no one sees coming. As for the weekly side of it, well, as long as it keeps holding weekly trend, you can just keep longing it and just keep following it up. Same thing really can be said for the daily. As long as it just keeps holding the trends, you can just keep following it up. But just, yeah, if it starts to lose those trends, just, you know, don't be a hodler. And you know, if it breaks a trend and starts moving down, you can always close your positions and you can always just buy back where you exited, and no harm, no foul. But yeah, that's my view on hype. Possibly a little bit bearish, but it's just what the structure says. All right, cheers.